Hey everyone, it's Jack, and today I'm going to take a look at Storm OS. The new release has just come out on Storm OS about a month ago, and since then, Seeker has let me know that they have made some cool changes here to the Storm OS, and the changes looked good enough to me that I wanted to go and do a follow-up on this video. So here I am again at the Storm OS website, and I am here getting ready to download the image. And so if we go to the download site, I'm going to grab this image and load it in. Let's check it out. And I find this to be really interesting, especially one of the utilities that Seeker has created. So being that Storm OS is Arch-based and it is based on Arco Linux, it's a really interesting distro, and it's something that I've been following pretty closely. With each iteration of the distro that comes out, it seems to be greatly improved. This team is really right on top of things when it comes to maintaining their distro and just making it the best they can. So I'm really excited about getting this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the download link here, load it in, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got the image loaded in here, so I'm going to just go ahead and boot in, and then we'll jump in and do a quick install and check this baby out. So it's booting up right now. And now we're in our live environment. So beautiful as usual, and it looks like we still have our Dracula theme, which I really love. This is probably one of my overall favorite themes, and there you can see the purple accents. Really great. Loving it. So I'm just going to get right to it. I'm just going to run into this installer real quick, just in case anything's changed. And there's the weather app. I like that the weather app is there by default. I think that is really cool. It's by default set to Louisville, which is not where I'm located, but that's okay. I like that the weather app's there. So I'm just going to go with the defaults here and say next for our language and keyboard, and then here just going to select erase disk, and then I think I'll select swap with Hibernate, and then we'll hit next, and then I'll give myself a silly name like I always do, and then password and verify. And I like that they have a require strong password in there. That's something I didn't notice before, so that's a nice feature, an option to have. And then here we have our additional optional apps. So in addition to the default apps that are installed, we can also check any one of these here. And so you got a lot of things to choose from if you want to add in Wine or Lutris, Steam. Like if you're a gamer, I guess I'll add in Chromium. That's another browser I prefer to use, so I think I'll check that. And here, of course, you got choices for NVIDIA packages. I'm going to check Timeshift too. And so I like that you got the NVIDIA options here, which I'm not using, and then kernels. So if you want to add in some extra kernels like the Zen kernel, you can do that. And then we'll just hit install, and the installer is that simple. So very straightforward. Love the Calamares installer. I'm just going to let this run and kind of do its thing. And then when it's done, I'll be right back. Okay, we're all done here. So I'm going to hit restart. And then if everything went well, it'll work. So here we go. Okay, I've done a reboot. And so here we have our Storm OS. Very nice grub menu there. I like the color theming there. That looks really nice. I'm going to hit that. And then we should be in our desktop very soon. Or at least a login prompt. Great. I'm going to come up here and just click my name here. And then log in. And now we're in our desktop. Nice. So beautiful environment. Big background. There's that weather app, and very nicely themed. I really like the default Dracula theme here, and we got our purple accents, just top notch. And just real quick, I'm going to switch categories by hovering, set that setting there in my menu settings, because I like that to switch just when I hover over. That's just a me thing, so I'm just going to do that. Now, one of the things that Seeker has mentioned, the big improvement, is he's created a utility for managing Storm OS, and this is really nice. So this is called the Storm OS Maintenance and Utilities Program, and something that Seeker had written just for this distro. So we got, in the beginning here, the Welcome tab, which has all our different areas like visiting the website, install Discord, join the Storm OS Discord channel, and then this is a reserve button. That's kind of a placeholder for any future options that you might want to add in there. And then here, this is really cool, the Maintenance and Update Support tab, where you have refresh mirrors, system updates, AUR updates, and so forth. And I would probably recommend running all these first, right after your install. So I'm going to just let it update the mirrors first, and then that'll ensure that we get all the quickest mirrors And they have really made this easy, so you don't have to learn any complicated console commands and try to memorize them. And it's just all right here, conveniently linked to these scripts. And now we can run our updates. And so we'll let the updates run. And as you can see, it's going to be loading in the newest kernel, 5.17.4, as of the time of this video. That's great. So a lot of updates here already. And so we'll let those all run. And they're pretty much almost all installed now. And so the upgrade is almost complete here. Okay, and so that completed. Nice. And then they even have a link here to AUR updates. That's nice. So you can even run updates from the AUR directly. And I don't think it's going to really do anything here because we don't really have anything to update. And then here is an Arch keyring updater. And this is something you can run if you want. Typically, you probably don't really need to run it unless you're having a problem with the keys. However, it doesn't hurt to run it once in a while anyway. But it does take a while, so this could be a few minutes while it's running. However, I know in other distros, like especially Manjaro, I used to have all kinds of problems with the keys when I would update on occasion, and so it was always kind of irritating, and I'd always have to mess with working out those issues with the GPG keys and so forth. So this is really nice that you have it right in this convenient little package where all I have to do is click a button. That is fantastic, and I definitely give that a double thumbs up for sure. This is a great feature. So thanks, Seeker. Very useful. And so this is going to take a while, so I'm just going to let this do its thing, and then I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so it's all done running its keys there, so the key ring is all updated. Then we have other, like TeamViewer, which is nice. I use TeamViewer. And then we have list hardware. So this is kind of cool. And it looks like it prints it out to a text file after you run it. So that's neat. Let's see what we got in here. So that's a 0 KB file, and so is that. So let's hit that again and see what it's saying in the terminal there. I could actually run it down here, and it's saying that the lshw command's not found. So it looks like we just need to install that. I could actually do that right here from the terminal, actually. So I'll just do a sudo pacman-f and then lshw, and then we'll just put that in real quick. No big deal. There we go. And this is a brand new utility. There we go. That this has been worked into. So it's not really totally unexpected that maybe sometimes you won't find something right off the bat that's already installed, and that is okay. That's part of the process of evolving with a great distro. So here it's kind of showing all our hardware all listed out, and again, another nice, easy, convenient button that we can just do that with. And then I believe it probably put that into that file too. So if I click this again, it should write it to that hardware file. The memory info, I'm not sure what that's referring to yet, but we'll come back to that. System info should have something in it now though, I think. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. So this is great. You have a text file with all your system info logged out here. And I think that's really convenient. What a cool feature. Just all built right into one button. So I like it. And now it looks like it was, I didn't quite catch that, but it kind of looked like detect DIMMs maybe. And I think that would be related to like if you hook up a memory reader. But let's see if detect DIMMs is, or decode DIMMs is in here. Yeah, probably not. So not a big deal. We'll just skip that because I don't have a memory reader hooked up to this anyway, so it's not really relevant. So then we also have installation of NVIDIA DKMS after reboot. I like that. And then blank your screen. There is a notation on the website that there's some kind of issue with the power saver and the screen doesn't blank. So Seeker actually created a button where you can manually do that. That's kind of cool. What a neat idea. So that's what that is, and I don't think that screen power issue is related to the distro itself. It's more of an Arch issue, I believe. And so I like that. And then here we got the memory reader if you wanted to buy memory. Not quite sure what that's going to, but that's probably something that's going to be implemented in a future update, I think, probably. And then down here we got more buttons in addition to the tab. So here we got a resource, so that's kind of running probably a front end to top. And so it looks like it's using about 746 megs of RAM for this. So that's kind of cool. And then we have update and maintenance program. I think that's what we're running right now, actually. Yeah, okay. So I just relaunched this program. I think I probably closed the old window, maybe. Yeah, so I really didn't need to press that, I guess. And that opened it in the console. So I'll just open it back up again. There we go. Back to where we were. And then we got Launch Terminal and Launch Browser, so you can conveniently do that from those buttons as well. And then this third tab, we got Game Utilities and Installs. Game and Utilities Installs. So here, wow, great gaming stuff here. Steam, Heroic, Lutris, Proton GE. And then on this side we got Utilities, Install Bottles. Nice. Warpinator, that's really cool. Warpinator is a utility that you find on Linux Mint, and Warpinator lets two devices communicate with each other. So if you have another computer in the house that's networked and you install Warpinator on the other device, then you can move files pretty easily between computers using Warpinator. So it's really cool, kind of similar to AirDrop, if you're familiar with that. And I think Warpinator even has an Android version. So I think you can even transfer files onto an Android device like your phone if you have a smartphone using Warpinator. So that's cool. And then install LSHW. Okay, so I guess I could have just gone there to do that. That's cool. Okay, I didn't know those were there. And same for the decode DIMMs. So if I hit that button, then it installed the utility for that. Cool. So now if I come back here and ran that, it shouldn't complain, except that it doesn't have a memory reader hooked up to it. So it's still blank. But at least now it's capable of working. So if I install the memory reader in there, I'd be all set to go. How cool. Okay, so that solves that. I guess maybe in the future they might want to move those buttons over to the second tab, maybe, or maybe the second tab button to the third, just to have them all together. But that is cool. So now that I know that's there, nice. And then we have our printer driver setups. Now I don't have any kind of printer hooked up to this system at all, so it's not going to find anything. But it even has an Epson driver support there on the button, which makes it easy. So you can easily enable cups just with a press of a button. And of course it's not going to show the cups configuration because I don't have a printer or have it installed. So but really wonderful. That really makes cups easy. And then these are links to DistroWatch, a merchandise store, cool, GoFundMe page, and Patreon. So you definitely want to support the project if you find this worthwhile, which I bet you will. And let's take a look at their merch store real quick. This has got me a little curious. Kind of like to see what they got. So we open up the browser and I'll hit OK there for the cookie message. And if we scroll down, wow, check those out. Cool t-shirts and sweatshirt and other things. Sudo app, get a life. I like that. Cool. Yeah, this is great stuff here. So if you want some great art stuff to show off, be the first on your block to get out here and grab some of this cool merchandise. I have a feeling it won't disappoint. And I see we're running the latest browser, which I would expect from Arch, 99.01 as of the time of filming here. So what a wonderful utility. Wow, Seeker, A+ for that utility. That is really nice. I think that adds a ton of value to the distro, and really glad to see that. That was worth the download all by itself. And here's HTOP, and it's showing I'm using about 662 megs of RAM here on this particular setup. Not too shabby. And then here we have our right-click menu, and let's give ourselves some wallpaper, because I'm seeing it's a little blank. So what we got to do to get the wallpaper is go up here to the folder and select Other. And then there's another folder here called Storm OS, and when we click on that, then we can see all the pictures in there. So once we got those, just hit the Open button, and then it'll load in all the wallpapers. And wow, what a treasure. There's so many cool wallpapers in here. I remember this from my last review here from last month, and was really impressed with these wallpapers. They're just gorgeous. They're really over the top. And I like that Stormtrooper, Storm OS. It all works. And that's pretty bad to the bone. I like that. I'm kind of a Star Wars fan anyway. And there's a cool picture, someone looking out the window, and yeah, that's cool too. Looks like the Dragon Warrior. And whoa, bad to the bone. There's one I used before, I think, in a previous review, and I love that wallpaper. That was one that I kind of kiped for my own wallpaper collection, and I couldn't resist taking that. And there's a beautiful one, also consistent with the Storm OS genre. And then here we got another beautiful wallpaper, really vivid colors here, very vibrant. And I like that. Wow, this really goes well with the Dracula theme. I think that's a great compliment. If I were the Storm OS guys, I might consider using that as the default wallpaper. Nice. I like it. I'm going to go with it. And then over here, we got our Thunar, and there's the beautiful Dracula icons. And like I was saying before, we got the purple accents here. And let's look at the styling. So here we got our Dracula theme here under style. And then under icons, we got our Dracula icons, of course. So just a perfect complement here for the Storm OS. I couldn't really think of a better theme to use for this distro. So yes, A+. And then let's jump over to our system settings real quick and just kind of take a look in here. So if I jump over here, we have all our typical settings, and there's another link to their Storm OS system tool. That's what we were looking at before at the beginning. And so that's another way to get to it. Good to know. Glad to see that there. And then our panel settings, as you can see, the panel has a little bit of a transparency in it, which I really like. I think that might be a result of the Dracula theme. But here's where you can additionally add your appearance, and you can see that the dark mode setting is on by default here, and then your icons size automatic adjust, and this is all default settings here. Looks like the row size is at 30, which I think is nice. That's a pretty good, decent size. And then these are the items that are on our panel down below. So all looking good. Wow. And in my previous review, I went over all the different system settings in here before, so no need to rehash what we've already done, but it does have all the standard Xfce settings that you would expect to find on the Xfce desktop. And I really like the way Thunar is set up here too. One thing I like to do is I like to add shortcuts on the side pane to these different directories, because by default you have a few here, but I usually put in like my documents and downloads folder and all that, and all you got to do is right click, go to send to, and then select side pane, and then it pops up there at the bottom right here. So now we have documents, and you can do that to all these folders, but don't try dragging it because you'll probably end up putting it inside the documents like that. So that doesn't always work. It's always best just to right click and do side pane. With some themes though, you can kind of drag that over there. It'll make a little line underneath, like right in there. But you can't see it in this one, so I would just recommend using the right-click side pane for sure. So that's Thunar, and that's actually one of my favorite file managers, really. And so very sharp looking. And so here we got our accessories, and we got our USB writer here and Vim. So a fair selection of default items, but not much. It's really kind of bare bones, so you can put in what you want, which I really like. Multimedia's got VLC, which to me is an essential, and Simple Screen Recorder is a great recording utility. And then no Office by default, so you can install your own, which is great. And then wget TM, which is a downloader, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like YouTube downloader, I think. And then our settings and system files. So these are all pretty cool here. We got our Gparted and HTOP, nice, LSHW, which we installed, Time Shift, and Xfce Terminal, my favorite terminal. So they really struck a nice balance here with just not too much stuff. Just install the stuff that you need so you don't have to undo apps that you don't want in there by default. So that's nice. And then here, our add remove software is our Pamac, and this is all set up beautifully here. We got our installed apps here, and the installed ones, you can see the red icons there that shows that it's installed. And then with our arrow, those are things yet to be installed. So that's where you can find your apps. And of course, the other thing I like to do inside Pamac when I first set it up is I like to go in and just turn on the AUR if it's not on by default. So you can do that by going here and hitting preferences. And then if we go to advanced, enable AUR support, then all the other defaults I think all look pretty good. And then here you can also enable flatback support. I like that right there, easy access to it. You can even have it check for updates for your Flatpaks if you wish, or not. And then snap support. So very cool. You got support of both big package alternatives there. Very nice. So that's how you can enable your third-party stuff. We got 4 parallel downloads by default. That's pretty decent. So that is our package manager, Pamac. And an excellent package manager it is. And it's a very zippy package manager. always had pretty good luck with it, even though I do most of my installs from a console. But when I do use Pamac, it works pretty well. And so there you go. I think that's going to pretty much cover the whole review here, or you might call it a supplemental update, a follow-up to my previous review there from back in March. But I am impressed with this update. It seems whenever the team gets out there and creates a new release, they never disappoint. They're always constantly improving, and I really like that. So I got to hand it to Seeker and Ben Fitzpatrick and the whole Storm OS crew out there. They're really doing a fantastic job. They're really on this. It's an active project, and I really like where this is going. Storm OS is something I'm going to keep a really close eye on. And I like the fact that they have that philosophy of constant improvement, that they really put a lot of attention to their project. And on top of that, they got such cool theming abilities. So you can tell that it's not just a bunch of programmers out there programming without any kind of aesthetic talent. So they definitely got people in there that are contributing great artwork here. I love the wallpapers. And the theming is just perfect. I mean, they actually worked on having it match the Storm OS name. So we got this nice dark theme, and Dracula is actually the perfect theme for a Storm OS name. I couldn't have come up with a better theme for it. And it really works for me. And this is like one of those distros that I really wouldn't have to mess with. It's one of those things that after I install it, I'm already comfortable with it. It's got the weather app down here, like right there. And I love the panel weather app. I think Xfce has the best weather app out there. It is really over the top. It's great. And that's something I always install right after I add Xfce on a machine. And so to have it there already is a rare treat. You don't see that on many distros. So maybe a little thing, but to me, it's kind of a big deal, and those little things mean a lot. And I also like the fact that I get my choice of what I want to install when it comes to Office and graphics and so forth. They didn't put them on there for me because a lot of times, for example, LibreOffice is something that I don't normally use. I prefer using a different alternative like OnlyOffice or WPS Office. And so when I get a distro that has LibreOffice already on there, then I have to uninstall it, take it off of there, and then add in the suite of my choice. And so the fact that they didn't go ahead and throw all that extra stuff in there is something I appreciate. I like that. And I do like the installer, how you can add in a lot of extra apps right at the install, and that's very handy too. I think it's always great to have some choices right at the get-go, so you can just kind of pre-select some things, and especially with a kernel, if you want extra kernels on there, it makes it really easy to just have those available pre-install. So again, Storm OS team, double thumbs up. Keep up the great work here. I'm telling you, this is a really worthwhile project, and if you haven't tried Storm OS yet, give it a try. You're gonna love it. So download it, stick it in a VM, or put it on a spare machine or your main machine and see what you think. I think you'll agree. It won't disappoint. And with that, I hope this review was helpful. And if it was, don't forget to leave that thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.